Namaste Friends. A very warm welcome to Sai Yoga with Prutha and Hardik. Friends, my name is Hardik Mehta, and in today's video I will show you the bones of the lower limb, which is a part of appendicular skeleton. Friends, in my previous video I have already discussed bones of the upper limbs, which is again a part of appendicular skeleton. So please do watch it. The link is given below in the description. It is also up in the cards. Friends, also I have prepared a video on axial skeleton. So friends, do watch it, and there is an entire playlist about skeletal system. So don't forget to watch those videos as well. So now let's start today's video. So friends, bones of the lower limbs, also called as lower extremities. So which are the bones of the lower extremities? The first bone is the hip girdle. Hip girdle connects the lower extremity to the axial skeleton. So friends, hip girdle is made up of two hip bones which join the lower limb to the axial skeleton. So one hip bone is on the right side, one on the left side. So friends, each hip bone is made up of three bones fused together called as ilium, ischium and pubis. So this part over here is ilium, and ischium is also widely known as sitting bones. So this part over here at the lower end, at the inferior part of the pelvis, is ischium, and this part over here, the front part, is called as pubis. Now friends, let's discuss bone by bone. So as we already saw, hip bone, a hip bone is also called as innominate bone or os coxa. So friends, remember these three names. Hip bone is also called as innominate bone or os coxa. So friends, how the lower limb connects to the axial skeleton. We have already seen this in our previous video, that lower limb connects to the axial skeleton via pelvic girdle. And how does it connect? If you can see, there is a round surface over here. This is called as a socket. It is also known as hip socket. It is also known as acetabulum. So this acetabulum, and this is the femur and the head of the femur. It looks like a ball. So this ball meets the socket, and that is how hip joint is formed. Okay, and that is how you walk also. Yeah. So friends, this entire bone, the long bone, it is called as femur. It is also known as thigh bone. It is the strongest bone in us. And friends, this ball over here is known as head of the femur. And then this part over here is known as neck of the femur. Now this part is known as greater trochanter, and the part over here is known as lesser trochanter. And this entire part over here is known as shaft of the femur. And then there is something called as medial epicondyle and lateral epicondyle, which is on the posterior part. So towards the medial, that is towards the midline of the body, is called as medial epicondyle, and towards the lateral side of the body, it is called as lateral epicondyle. And friends, there is something called as patellar groove, which is over here. Okay, and friends, this part over here is known as patella, also famously known as kneecap. Now friends, let's move further. So friends, this bone over here is called as tibia, also known as shin bone, famously known as shin bone. Some people call it as shin bone. It is also known as big bone because it looks big, and it is in line with the big toe. And similarly, this bone over here is called as fibula, and this is a thin bone. See, it looks thin, so it is called as a thin bone, and it is in line with the little toe. And now friends, like in wrist bone, we had carpals, so in foot we have tarsals. So there are 7 bones in the ankles. They are called as tarsals. And now how to remember tarsals? In carpals also I had given you a mnemonic. Similarly in tarsals I will give you a mnemonic to remember. So tiger cubs need milk. You have to remember this mnemonic. tiger cubs need milk, MILC. Okay. So friends, tiger stands for talus bone. Cubs stands for calcaneus. Need stands for navicular. M stands for medial cuneiform. I stands for intermediate cuneiform. L stands for lateral cuneiform. And C stands for cuboid. So friends, these are again tiny bones. So I will show you in a big close-up picture. So friends, now let us understand where this 7 small tiny bones called as tarsals are located in our foot. So friends, talus is located over here. Talus is also called as the ankle bone. It is a part of both the ankle and foot, and that's why it is a very important bone, and our entire body weight comes on this bone. So friends, that's why always remember this talus. So directly below the talus is the calcaneus bone. Friends, this bone over here is called as calcaneus bone. Calcaneus is the Latin word for heel. So calcaneus is also called as the heel bone, and it is the largest bone in our foot. And in front of talus there are two bones. One is navicular and another is cuboid. Now friends, navicular bone, some people call it, looks like a hull of a navy ship. That's why it is called as navicular bone, and it is towards the midline of the body. And cuboid, again it looks like a cube, that is why the word cuboid is used to describe this bone. And friends, just ahead of them there are 3 cuneiforms. They are also called as wedge-shaped bones, and they are just in front of navicular and cuboid bone. So they are called as medial cuneiform. So this bone over here is called as medial cuneiform because it lies towards the midline of the body. Then the second bone over here is called as intermediate cuneiform because it is between the lateral and the medial side. And the third bone over here, a tiny bone over here, is called as lateral cuneiform because it lies towards the lateral side of the body. Now in front of the tarsal bones are the 5 metatarsals. Now friends, as we had seen it in our hand also, there were carpals and then metacarpals. Similarly in our foot also there are tarsals and metatarsals. So friends, why meta word is used? Because meta means extending. So it extends beyond tarsals. That's why it is called as metatarsals. So this 5 bones over here are metatarsals, and beyond metatarsals are phalanges. So friends, in our hand also there were phalanges. Similarly in our foot also there are phalanges. So in our big toe there will be 2 phalanges. One distal phalange and another is proximal phalange. And in rest of our toes there will be 3 phalanges. One towards the toes, towards the end of the toes, it is called as distal. Then in between is called as middle phalange, and proximal phalange, which is closer to the metatarsal. So friends, total there are 26 bones in each foot. Does it sound a lot to remember? No friends, it is very easy to remember. Do not forget to remember the mnemonic to remember the name of the bones of the foot. Thank you friends for watching this video. Please share, like and subscribe our channel to get regular updates about our video, and also spread it across so that more and more students can understand it in an easier way. Thank you friends. Namaste.